I've been learning everything as I go. And that's why before, I heard a great piece of advice: fail fast, because the more time you spend on your failures trying to make the failure right, the more money and time you're losing. So, if you know it's not working, jump ship as fast as you can, stop the bleeding and move on, and try to pivot to something that's going to be a little bit easier and a little bit more successful for your company.
Michelle Little is amazing. She's one of the most inspiring people, definitely entrepreneurs, that I've ever met. So Michelle runs The Perfect Granola. It's a granola company that gives 5% of the earnings to homeless shelters and outreach centers and food banks. She started the company in her kitchen as a way to feed the hungry and empower underserved communities. And she routinely hires students, teaches underserved students, underserved youth, teaches them business, teaches them, how to sort of get ahead in life. And she's the definition of what it means to be an entrepreneur at heart. So I met Michelle a few years ago and was introduced to Perfect Granola, the product, by a friend of mine. Literally, we went to our camp and invited some friends, and they brought some Perfect Granola and was eating it in the morning. I was like, man, this is really good. Where'd you get this? And my friend's like, oh, it's their company right out of Rochester. It's a friend of mine, Michelle, and she started this company. She's a mom. She started this company as a way to kind of balance starting a business with feeding, the homeless and feeding the needy. And she figured out a way to sort of cash flow it so that even though it's not a nonprofit business, it's a socially good business. They profit, but they're also putting some good out into the world. And there's a lot of companies that use sharing profits with charities or whatever as a marketing tool. Like, let's not beat around the bush. There's so many companies that say, oh, we give 10% of the profits to so-and-so. And that's good. It's not a bad thing. But the only reason they're doing it is because they want to kind of tap into consumers' hearts and seem like, oh, they're a good company. They're doing good things. But Michelle is doing it like for real. Like, the business wouldn't exist if Michelle didn't want to help improve the lives of underserved communities, underserved people. Like, the business wouldn't exist.
Tell them anything they need to hear to get that check. Once you have that check, go out, spend it the way that you want, as long as there's going to be a return for that investor. But you've got to ask everybody and not be afraid of rejection, because you're going to get it, and you will get a couple of yeses along the way, but you are going to get people that say no. In fact, 2 times I had sat down for coffee with an investor, 2 different occasions.
Michelle doesn't want to just go make a bunch of money, and then she wants to use, profit sharing or charitable donations as a way to get there. She wants to help people, and she needs to cash flow the business in order to help more people. So just this past year, I don't know the amount. I could look it up real quick, but something like 100,000 pounds of granola were donated, this past year. So you can tell by the content that she puts out, by the press releases, by the sharing news articles about herself. She's sharing when she reaches milestones of good, of stuff that's not earning money, giving stuff away, feeding people. Those are the things that she's sharing. So when I look at how to become a better person, I go to Michelle. When I learn how to give back within my company and be more empathetic to my team and to my clients and to the community, I go to Michelle. So if you want to learn how to become more socially good while still being a capitalist, watch Michelle's talk at NobleCon. She'll teach you a lot.